Didn't get a chance yesterday to record my rapid reaction takes. Fired a few off on Twitter, kind of in the middle of the game and then in the ensuing moments, pretty short thereafter. But I really just wanted to, it's kind of a question that I have, get you guys thinking outside the box a little bit, because this is just where my head is at, and that's all I can do is be objective and honest. If we understand what Brian Schottenheimer has been trying to say to us with regard to the nature in which they treat preseason games, how indicative they are of what is to come, all these things, we've covered that at length here. But if we understand that they are withholding all of the information because nobody knows who the Cowboys are with this current version of Brian Schottenheimer, as not just the head coach, but also the offensive coordinator, the play caller, okay? So with both of those two duties, nobody really knows who Brian Schottenheimer is. That's one of the hidden advantages that the Cowboys have heading into this season, is we can get a pretty good feel, right? There's a track record a little bit of Brian Schottenheimer, a couple top overall rushing offenses at a couple different stops. But even still, the Brian Schottenheimer that we knew with his previous play calling days always had to answer to at least one man ahead of him before he had the final say. So if we understand that it would behoove the Cowboys to withhold as much information about who they truly are in these preseason games, and only start unveiling that once the regular season begins, and as they continue to honestly round some things out, smooth out some of these uneven surfaces right now with this new style. It's a completely different offense than what we kind of got used to, and it's a good thing. And we've talked about what a lot of those differences are. But so that's the question that I want to ask. And this is a sort of broad spectrum, rapid reaction to the game yesterday. If we understand that the Cowboys offense is going to be vanilla in these games, yet all these guys that we're questioning, like Joe Milton, Miles Sanders, whoever else you want to see at the receiver position, whoever else you want to name, whoever else you want to talk about up front, who's on the bubble, at whether that be guard or tackle on the offensive line. All these things, when guys look the part and appear to be very competent in practice, in the actual training camp portion of the preseason, when it's just them, when there's restricted media access, when it's not nationally televised, the Cowboys are a much different offense, right? So is it not fair to ask or suggest that if a player that we've been hearing all these rave and glowing reviews about in training camp, who appears competent, all of a sudden looks much less so once the preseason games actually begin? We could discuss some sports psychology involved there. Some guys not necessarily being built for the moment. That's a fair take. But the underlying premise here, and the sake of this discussion, we're considering when you get accustomed to and comfortable in this new system that's nuanced, that's got a ton of different layers to it, with some of the modernization of offensive football, and you get into this rhythm, this flow of who you're actually going to be in the regular season, but then you go and you're just sort of like, it's almost like fundamentals 101 whenever you're out there, just sort of, hey, go win your matchup, you beat your guy, and let's just we're going to withhold information. We're going to keep it vanilla, and we're just going to evaluate in a little bit different of a manner than maybe most people are fully comprehending or thinking about right now. That's the whole purpose of this. Just get you guys to think. Us as a collective, as a community, as a Cowboys nation, have these types of discussions. Is it not fair to say that perhaps scheme can really elevate the players who are participating from within that scheme? Like, hello? Right? Just a wild concept to consider here, reconsider. It's not like that should be breaking news to anyone. It's not like that should just completely catch everybody off guard. But hopefully it's a breath of fresh air or a fresh take, whether you believe it or not. I believe it. I think it's damn true. But it'd be hard. I know it's going to be hard to sway some of you off of your current opinion. Like, some strong takes out there that I saw regarding Joe Milton, but we're not going to spend too much time on that. Just, is it not fair to assume that a lot of what we're seeing in the preseason, or what we're not seeing, with respect to what we were hoping we would see based on everything that we've heard in training camp, just before you overreact, stop and consider what is actually happening, what is unfolding. It's a different evaluation on the offensive side of the ball than it is on defense. Your scheme can actually elevate the supporting cast. The product being greater than the sum of its parts type thing, That's just kind of where my mind goes. And I just want to try to rattle off a few other standouts, some of the things that we've learned just about certain players in particular real quick. Guys, like I said, I haven't watched any of the All-22 yet. I'm going to dig into that as soon as I get back here. But Zion Childress is a player. And as I said yesterday, he's coming for somebody's jersey number for that upgrade. So he looks to me to be the most competent interior corner, the nickel corner. Texas fans, if you're a Texas fan, you might refer to it as the star position. The way that he's playing, similar to Maris Leofau and countless others, Perion Winfrey's another, just with relentless energy and honestly bad intentions, and a level of fearlessness, aggression, and see ball, hit ball that is rather rare at corner in general, but especially for this Cowboys culture that we're so invested in, or that I guess that we're so deeply obsessed with discussing and hoping to overcome, the country club culture. But Zion Childress embodies the exact opposite of whatever that old version of the Cowboys is, whichever adjective that you want to use. Zion Childress is the hair on fire, reckless abandon Maris Leofau that we're all quickly becoming to know and love. The DeMarvion Overshown that we all saw and hated to watch go down with a significant injury when he was just seemingly rapidly ascending in the college or in the NFL realm as a linebacker. there's a few other names that kind of stood out to me. I thought Tyler Booker was as advertised. Nothing really surprising or noteworthy there, but you just kind of watch him enough time. You watch him 5 times, you're going to see him have his way with somebody, at least 3 of them. And he's got smooth feet for the toughest guy in the trenches coming out of the SEC, right? The no doubt most physical interior offensive lineman in the class. For a guy with that persona, that aura, he's got some sweet feet in pass pro too, man. You just see him. He's a fluid player and he looks confident, but he's definitely strong. So it's going to be fun to watch him alongside the other interior 2, who once again, I have been on record, that has a chance to be one of the most physically dominant interior offensive lines in the sport, especially once we start to see what we just talked about. The modernization of offense, a nuanced and layered rushing attack. It's going to be a lot more, let's just say, unpredictable. But they are going to lean on they're going to lean on duo. As we heard from the opening NFL draft call with Tyler Booker on the phone with Schotty. They're going to combo and climb people. That's going to be the identity. But they're going to do it in a variety of ways. And then especially when you start to have the discussion about Hunter Lipke inserting as a fullback, creating that extra gap, forcing that extra layer of communication from the second and third levels. Once again, they're having to diagnose on the fly and fill in adequate enough time where that fullback is inserting. I was having a discussion with my dad last night. The Cowboys, one of their running plays that was pretty successful. It was a little bit of a peek inside of what I've been kind of hinting at, right? Of them, what they've been trying to withhold. They gave us a little taste of it last night. And it was motion across the formation. Kevontae Turpin in motion at the snap. Fullback inserting across the formation like a split zone type, inside zone look almost, where he's sort of cracking across the formation. So the second level, they're having to second guess. Okay, I see Turpin. He's in my line of sight. He's moving 100 miles an hour this way. This tight end's about to insert. So now my responsibility changes based on wherever that is. Oh, and by the way, I've got to make sure that I'm not getting beat to the edge. I've got to worry about what this fullback's doing, and then I got to try to find, follow, track, and hit the football. It's a lot going on, but they did give us a taste. So I know this is just a lot of rambling, but I don't have enough of a nuanced answer yet to sit here and just break down specifics of what I saw, what I liked. And it's also hard for me to do that, even if I did, which is sort of the punchline of this whole video, is that even if I did have the time to sit down yet, which I'm getting ready to right now, it still would be a tricky conversation because of what we know about this offense, this system, withholding information. So needless to say, that's a wrap, and then hopefully you guys will be hearing from me tomorrow. I'll have my girls with me all day, so those Mondays are sometimes tricky. But we're finding more and more efficient ways to be consistent. And one of those ways is just like this one. Go for my evening walks. I usually take the dogs with me. I may, once this starts uploading, probably put them on the leash and go for another 15, 20 minutes or so. I love walking in the evenings when it cools down, and it's a great way to unwind right before bed. One of my favorite things to do. But remember that, actually, you know what? Let's do it a little differently today once again. Be the difference. Be the change that you want to see. And change yourself in the process. Right. And one of the ways that you do that is by what we always sign off with. Prayer changes things, and the war is already won. Love you guys.